If you've been niching down by industry, job title, or business size and you are still attracting the wrong leads and clients, this is exactly why, and I'm going to show you what I did instead. You are spending time and money on marketing that attracts people who are not ready or they don't want what you sell, even though you know that's what they need. By understanding psychological states of your audience instead of just the demographics alone, you get sharper messaging, clearer offers, and you stop wasting your resources on people that were never going to buy from you anyway. I'm Katrina, a strategy advisor with 15 years of working experience and degrees in business, management, accounting, and public policy and practice. And in this video, I'll show you why niching by demographics alone keeps you stuck, what audience states actually are and how I found mine, the step-by-step process I used and what it unlocked in terms of my offers, messaging, and who I now deliberately exclude. I'll show you the one variable that predicts whether someone buys from you, whether they get the results that they need, and therefore become a loyal and returning customer. And it has nothing to do with their demographics, so stuff like their age, location, or job title. Demographics will tell you who someone is on paper, but they don't tell you anything about their urgency, about their readiness to buy your products or services, or their expectation. And this mismatch is exactly why you can have a perfectly targeted ad that still brings in the wrong people. So your demographics are great, but the state of the audience that you are targeting is wrong. This is what we call the demographics trap. So as I said, demographics will tell you who someone is on paper, but they don't tell you where someone is. And where someone is, meaning the state of the person in their business or in their life, is exactly the variable that is going to predict whether someone is going to connect with your message, whether they will buy from you, and whether they'll get the results that they expect. So two people with identical demographics can require or might require completely different messaging, because they have completely different needs based on their state. So if you check your last 10 leads, have a look at who became a great customer and then who didn't convert into becoming a customer, or they became a very problematic customer. So let's say there was a scope creep, refunds, returns, and so on. And then see what was different between those two groups. So was it really the demographics, or was it the different level of commitment, of readiness, of expectations, and so on? Most of the time it's the second group, and this is your signal that states actually matter more than just the profile alone. I'll show you exactly how I found the states of my audience, from raw messy data all the way to a map that I was able to use in my business. So the best way to do it is through an example, because unless you see it in action, it's very easy to dismiss it as something that's obvious. But once you start looking at your audience from the perspective of their states, it changes everything. I've used this scenario in my previous video, so I'm going to use it again in this context. So let's say we have a business owner who is a personal trainer or fitness coach, and they say, I help postpartum women to lose weight. So the demographics here are pretty simple. We have women, postpartum. Let's say we can add age range or even a location. Now, we can have multiple people with completely different needs and in different stages and states in their life or in business within the same demographic that I just described. So we can have, let's say, a woman A. This is a first-time mother. She's 6 months in, she's getting by, but then she looks in the mirror and she doesn't recognize herself. So for this woman, it's not just about losing weight. For this woman, it's also about the fact that she's lacking confidence, self-image, and so on. Now we have a woman B. So this woman has done it all before. She had a baby, lost the weight, had another baby, and it came all back. So this woman is not really confused about what she needs to do because she's done it all. But what she needs right now is something that's sustainable and that aligns with her lifestyle right now, which could be, 2 under 2. Now going back to the business owner. So this person has different choices. They can either put out a very generic messaging, something like lose baby weight. Now this message, this marketing is going to reach both of these women that I described, woman A and woman B. But it's going to convert no one because it's very generic and it doesn't speak to the state in which they are. Now, if this business owner put out a different messaging, something like check out this program, feel like yourself again. This is directly speaking to the pain and the state of woman A. So this woman is very likely to click on the program, research it, and sign up. It's obviously not going to connect with woman B because she's in a different state. So now for this woman, we can put out different kind of messaging, something like, you've done it all before, check out this program and make it sustainable. Or make it stick this time if we want to be more salesy and marketing. So this message is going to directly speak to the pain of woman B and probably go over the head of woman A. But it doesn't matter, because now we have one demographic, we have one client profile, but we have two very distinct messages that are speaking directly to the state and to the pain of the people within your group, the people that you are targeting, instead of having one message that's super generic and converts no one. So how do you actually find the states of your audience? Here's the exact process that will get you a number of very distinct states without the persona theater. If you don't design your marketing and messaging intentionally, you attract whoever likes your hooks the most. And these are usually the people with the most pain and lowest level of readiness to buy. That's a recipe for wasting your resources on marketing campaigns that don't convert anyone or bring in the clients that you don't actually want to work with. Defining your business and matching your marketing and messaging deliberately will help you choose who you are building your business and offers for. Let's move on to the process. So I'll describe all the steps and I'll overlay them with what I did for my business as an example so you can imagine it a little bit better. Step one is collect raw data. So this is when you go to where your audience already is and where they are speaking, where they are describing and expressing their current state. What you want to know is, what problems are they expressing and how are they talking about them? So are they trying to find out how to do something, or are they talking about what something is? Are they complaining about a solution or solutions that are not working? What exactly are they saying, etc.? So you collect data from various sources to have a good volume to work with. In my own business, in my case, I knew that what I offered was something that people needed. I just didn't really know how they were talking about it, what language they were using, what problems they were facing. So how to connect with them better so they can see that my solution is the solution to their problems. So I collected data from Quora, Reddit, Facebook groups and communities, YouTube comments, whatever it might be. And I was exactly after those points. So I wanted to know whether they are wondering what something is, or how something works, or they were complaining about some other solutions they are currently using, and how are they complaining, how much, etc. So this is where I was gathering the sense of their urgency and so on. Now in the second step, you code the information you just collected. Here you're not coding and merging by patterns of topic, but you are looking for the emotional and behavioral pattern. So here is where you are learn exactly about different levels of urgency, different problems they are facing, from what perspectives they are facing them, so you understand them a lot better. Now here, states start emerging, and you keep on refining them as you are going through your data and you're adding more data into different buckets, into different states. And you do that until you get a number of states that are very distinct and you can see very big differences between them. So in case of my business, there were 4 different states that emerged. The first one was startups, or the pre-startup state. So this is where we had business owners who had an idea, but they had a lot of uncertainty about viability of their idea. So they didn't really know whether it was worth pursuing, whether there was someone who would be willing to pay for it, how to actually structure the business, how to put it together, and so on. What I understood from these analyses about this particular state was that here, people who belong to this state didn't really have a lot of appetite for doing a structural work and business modeling and operational structure and so on. They were more likely to spend their money on something that made them feel like they were moving forward. So they're more likely to have a look at various marketing campaigns and sales strategies and so on. Stage 2 were business owners that made that leap. So they went ahead and pursued their idea, created a business, but they were experiencing a lot of issues and they were not sure whether these issues were just normal growing pain, which come with building a business, or if these were actual issues they should be looking at. So here what I understood from the analysis, what I understood about the state was that people were looking for quick fixes. So they were still at that stage when they believed that there are various quick fixes that can help them, and so they would throw a lot of money at various marketing strategies and sales strategies and tools and technologies and everything that was trending. And so unfortunately they would be wasting a lot of money, because really what they needed to do was to understand their business and make sure that their business is structured the way that it should be, to make sure that different components within their business structure are working together and not against each other. Then state number 3 were business owners that were further along their journey. So they were business owners that were successful, that managed to turn their hobby or skill or expertise into a business. But the business either grew very fast or it grew very organically, and they lost the control over the business. So they no longer could see how the business actually was structured, how it operated within that structure. And what also was very interesting about this state was that people at this state oftentimes already wasted a lot of money on various quick fixes, and they understood that actually what they needed was to step back and redesign their business and take control over it. So to make sure that they stabilize their operation so that the business was doing what it was designed to do or what it was set out to do. And then the state number 4 were business owners, also similar to state 3. So they were further along the way, but they were aspiring to do something in the future. So they wanted to scale, they wanted to expand into new markets or market segments, or they wanted to, for example, change the way they delivered value. So maybe they wanted to move from physical business to online and so on. And here is again, they understood that no quick fix is going to help them. So what they wanted was actually for someone to come in or for themselves to do it, to really have a look at their business and make sure that the business is structured in a way that can support that future goal. Now, step 3 is when you have your map of the states and you overlay your existing offers or your existing services or products against it. What you do is you take each product or each service and you compare it to each of the states that you identified, and you check with yourself, okay, is the state or person in this state ready for my offer, so ready to buy my product or my service? And you do it for each of the states, for each of your products and services. In my case, so if we take my 4 states, I compared my existing services and I identified that they were really aligned with only state 3 and 4. So I didn't really have anything to offer to state 1 and 2. Now in step 4, you take the offers that clearly align against certain states, and you take the information and the knowledge that now you have about these states to help you refine your messaging, refine your offer, refine your positioning, and so on. Because here is where as we were talking about, we were learning about the urgency, but we were also learning about what other solutions are your customers using right now and what problems are they facing. So is something too loud that you can make quieter, or is something too slow that you can make faster, or is something too difficult to use? So they really like it, but they just say it's so difficult to use. So then you can go ahead and automate it and make it very user friendly with a nice UX designer, etc., etc. So in my case, as I said, I had some offers that aligned very clearly with state 3 and 4. So here I was able to split my offers because I only had one offer at the beginning. So I was able to see that there were actually 2 distinct group of people. So I was able to split my one larger offer into 2 and then align my messaging and align these offers with the states that they were supposed to be serving. Now during this step, I also noticed that I was diluting my messaging, targeting the states or the people that I didn't actually want to work with just because I didn't have anything to offer to them. So for example, my website would say something like, you are in the right place if you just need someone to tell you what to do. Now that's clear message for state 2, but state 3 and 4, not really. So I was able to remove that and to replace it with something that directly spoke to the states that I am actually interested in working with and that I can help and I have offers to show them. And step 5 is really just the other side of step 4. So this is where you have a look at the same map and you have a look at where you have the gaps. Now you can make an informed decision. You can see that there are different states you are not serving. You don't have any offers or product or services for. Now you can make a decision to make those. So maybe you can create a new service, new product, maybe a digital product, whatever it might be, because now you know what the other people need that you don't have. So you can make a decision to do it or to ignore it, but you ignore it consciously, and that way you can, as I explained in the previous step, you can stop diluting your marketing, your messaging. You can really refine your offer to specifically focus on the states that you are interested in working with. So in my case, as I mentioned, I had the state 1 and 2 that I didn't really have any offers for, but then I made an informed decision to not really create any products. I could have created something like, a digital product targeting state 1 that says, download this, pay $27, and it will show you the 10 steps that you have to follow to set up your business or to start your business. But I don't believe in quick fixes. I don't believe that there are any quick fixes in business or in life. And I believe that the speed with which some solution works depends on its alignment with the problem you're trying to solve, if that makes sense. So different solutions are made for different problems, and if you match those two, it feels like magic, it looks like magic, it almost looks like a quick fix. but there are no real quick fixes. It's really just that alignment and the appropriate match of the solution that you are investing in with the right problem. Demographics will help you find the arena, but knowing the states of your audience will help you win the game with better offers and clearer messaging that attracts the right clients. If you want to make this more usable in your business, you can also watch my other 2 videos, where in one I explain how to make the right business decisions every time, and the other one talks about the topic of niching and how to use niching in your business and how not to. Subscribe if you want more videos like this one, and drop a comment below. How did knowing the states of your audience help you refine your offers? I'm curious to know what you are seeing.